and deader than ever.
I'm Callie.
I'm Tamara.
And this is...
Tony. Hello again.
This is part 2.
Part 2.
Ghoul Beans.
Incredible.
I didn't
And
leave. I was
Johnny.
here for a week.
This is part 2 of our last Ghouls Being Ghouls. We had so much fun with Tony, and he had so many scary and frightening stories that...
If you didn't listen to that one, go listen to that one.
Yes.
Yeah, then come back to this one.
It's
Yeah.
integral.
It was fun.
And we are going to now read some spooky, ooky stories from some writers in. Are you excited, Tony?
Yeah, I would like to hear other people's experiences and let's not get bogged down in the things that happened to me.
Yeah, I heard our experience.
I want to drive home feeling safe. So.
Are you going to feel safe after
Do
hearing
you check
spooky
the backseat?
stories?
No, I don't check the backseat.
What? What a way to
What
be
a
a man.
No, it's funny because I
Yeah.
go out for runs at night sometimes.
Wow.
Sometimes I like it because the world is
Different.
quiet.
Yeah.
You're not small either, though.
I don't think I am. No,
I got muscle.
He's
pretty
like, I'm actually-
burly man, I would say. But
You
yeah.
can't see me on this podcast. I'm 7 feet tall.
Yeah, and huge muscles, by the way. Huge muscles. Yeah, no, I mean, like, every once in a while, maybe, you're listening to music, but then you think, like, oh, what would happen? And then you, like,
Yeah.
look over your shoulder, like, okay, let's just check the perimeter a little bit.
You said
But-
you check behind your shoulder when you listen to our podcast, which
That's
I take
true.
as a compliment.
That's
Me
true.
too, me too.
I was,
From a skeptic.
yes, I was
Mm-hmm.
on the elliptical, and behind the machine, there's a door that leads to, like, the furnace and stuff. So
Classic.
oh yeah, the amount of times you just see it like
Yeah.
creak open.
It made a noise.
No, yeah, it was in the first episode. You were talking and you were telling your story, and there's a woman starts singing or something in the background.
My mail lady.
Yes, it was so perfectly timed.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought it must have been an effect,
No, she loves to sing.
Yeah, it worked.
And we paused. We were like,
We were
"What
both
is
like
Yeah,
scared.
you
shitless.
both paused, and then this faint woman voice was there, and I just was like,
that?" Yeah.
I had to stop. I paused my exercise.
You're like, this is too real.
All right, let's recoup a little bit, especially when you got the headphones on. It just
Yeah.
immerses you,
And you
it's
guys, they couldn't see, and you couldn't see. It got dark as fuck in my apartment when
Yeah.
we were telling stories. Like,
Well, and we
dark.
caught that voice. Like, not that voice. We caught
Yeah,
like an
there's an
actual
disembodied
like
voice.
ghost voice. It was scary.
Yikes.
When I said what?
Yeah, you were like, what? And it was like, what?
Yeah.
I heard it.
Ew, that was exactly it.
I know. That's because I listened to it a lot.
Loudly.
When
Oh, that's
when I
messed up.
edited.
That's messed up. But no, coming from someone who I generally don't worry too much about things,
Yeah.
and this pod gets me sometimes.
I love that.
Let me tell you.
Let me
tell you.
That makes me so happy.
You're not the only one. We get a lot of people that like will message us or just like our friends and family being like, so it's like genuinely scary. Like I like
Right.
that. I feel like we're hanging out.
Right, but also your stories.
I turn it down.
No, it's a good balance. It's
Yeah.
fun. It's like in a horror movie where you have the spooky part, and then
Yeah.
you cut to like it's daytime. You know you're safe again. It's a good balance.
You're like,
It's
I'll
good.
listen to the scary story because I know they're gonna make a joke at some point, so it'll be okay.
Yeah, someone's gonna giggle. It'll be fine.
It's a safe space for telling scary stories.
Yes.
It is. Therefore, since it is a safe space, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. So this is this story was written in by a listener and also a very dear friend, which is so kind. Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
How's it going? Been too long. Miss you.
Lauren.
Hope you're well.
Lauren, love you forever.
Hope you have no more stories.
Beans for Lauren.
Beans for Lauren.
Okay, and she writes, "Hi, Kelly and Tamara. I have a ghost story to share
And
with
Tony.
you both. And Tony.
Thank you.
She didn't know. This one is from my childhood when I was living in a small rural town in northern Jersey. I grew up in a normal neighborhood where there were tons of children. Our neighborhood was surrounded by woods on 3 sides where we would sometimes play. We had a core group of childhood friends on our street, but one of our favorite games to play included a good chunk of the neighborhood kids. The game was called Manhunt, essentially a mixture. I know, so scary. Who's like, let's play Manhunt? I'm like, let's play freeze tag.
Freestyle. We did play like Ghost in the Graveyard and
Oh,
stuff.
I loved Ghost in the
Yeah.
Graveyard. We were playing like maybe it was Capture the Flag at Sheila's house one time, and this neighborhood girl who was kind of in between like my age and my older sister's age She stepped on a nail.
Oh,
Tetanus.
Literally, it was so gross.
oh, that's a shame. Yeah.
This kid, oh my god, I'm gonna tell this story. This kid, he left for 1 year. He does not listen to this. He doesn't even know who the fuck I am. He left for a year in middle school. Found out that he was gone the whole time because he has type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
Came back, very slim and jacked, and then had all the girls lusting after him.
That happened to a kid in our school, too.
He like got hot from his diabetes.
Where do I get this diabetes? What's the guy gotta do?
Type 1, be specific.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't remember why he left, but he left and he came back
I think
and
he was a Mormon, and I think he did a Mormon thing.
Sorry. My eardrum's gonna blow on
I'm
that
so
one.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
That might be completely false.
He
but
is Mormon.
It's just
You
'cause
got
he said
that
it so
right.
seriously.
Yeah, he is?
Yeah,
then
he
I'm
is
pretty sure he
Mormon.
left for something Mormon related.
What do you mean?
Like
I
a
gotta go do
retreat
my
or
Mormon
something.
thing for a year. He was gone for a
No,
whole year.
yes, they have it. They do. They go for 2 years.
But like in middle school? It was middle
Oh,
school.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I do.
Well, he left for his Mormon thing, and he came
That's,
back.
that's the story I'm rolling with.
He came back really hot, and we had to do that team building
That's what
thing
God'll
in middle
do.
school. God bless.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
He like, you're awkward, and I was like not a small little child, and we had to go over this thing, and he just lifted me up and threw me over, and I was like,
Yeah, he was jacked.
We
Okay.
also had to do that, and that also had happened to me. His name was Adam Coulon, and he literally, I was scared because I'm like, I'm one of the biggest, like literally, I wasn't even overweight, but in my mind I'm like, oh, I am morbid, like literally bad, and I was also like one of the tallest. So I went to I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to be last, and I'm gonna have to fucking throw myself over this wall, a huge wall.
You have to levitate.
With my mind, ascend.
See, and that's where like in the show of your life you do that.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to you like passed out. Like, never having.
Well, I was even more scared because I was like, oh my god, if I can't get over, the teacher's gonna have to come and I'm gonna have to step on Mr. Burkhead's back, and I don't want to. And so then Adam Coulon just came up and he was like, lift your arms, and I was like, okay, and he just fucking threw me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He was big. He was like in 8th grade. This kid was like 6'5".
Yeah, you ever see those, like, especially when you're that age, you look at some of those kids and be like, you could be 30.
For sure.
I have no idea.
I was like, I'm
For
gonna
sure.
have his babies. Oh, I'm like getting tossed. I'm like, we're married now.
Some ritual.
He was like, I don't know your name. It was me standing and tossing myself. I know it. Because in my mind, I did a front flip. But really, I just like grabbed. And like lifted my leg over.
That's amazing.
Oh,
great.
God, that's amazing. Everybody just breathe.
Breathe. We'll collect ourselves.
Did a strong girl ever like leave?
Sorry.
Or I guess the male fantasy. Did you ever get to like lift a girl up and be
don't
like,
recall.
I am?
He's
the
never
strong-
tried.
We're married.
Imagine he lifts and she's like, stop! Like, that's like a risk.
That's true. You have to be
true.
you have to be afraid of that, especially when you're not in gym class.
You'd have to like,
I'll help you up there.
I'll
ma'am.
help you up. I can walk up the stairs, Tony. It's really not a problem.
please stop. Please stop.
Stop. This worked for
3
somebody.
steps.
I know it did.
I have 2 confirmed stories. Let me carry you up these
Carry
stairs.
up these. No, I never had that experience. But
Okay.
I'm not done yet.
He's like, I can throw you.
That's right now.
He's shot put style.
There are many chapters left in this fantasy.
The game was called Manhunt, essentially a mixture of hide and seek and tag, but there are 2 teams and one team attempts to run back to home base while the other hunts for the hiders and tags them to capture. The game also took place at night, super creepy looking back, but as a child you have no fear. That's a
That's
lie.
Ghosts in the
I was
Graveyard.
always afraid. And yeah, it is Ghosts in the Graveyard, I think.
I think so.
Feels like
That's
it.
literally Ghost in the Graveyard.
Where did she grow up?
Jersey.
Rural
See?
Jersey.
See?
They're like, we
That's
don't
Up
one
in,
big
us in the
graveyard.
Midwest, we
Right,
call it
like,
Ghost in the Graveyard. Over
Cooler
there.
name.
They're like, this is Manhunt.
Yeah.
Scary name.
Yeah.
There's
Scary.
Jersey.
Yeah.
I wish I could do a Jersey accent.
Yeah, I'm not going to
I
try
was about
it.
to attempt it.
Everybody paused. All 3 comedians over here. We were all like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
Boston.
Well, I don't want to give it a shot on the
Drop an ass.
Okay, one particular game, we chose teams and started playing, with my team hiding first. Usually I would hide with one other person, but for some reason that I cannot remember, I was hiding alone. A girl who looked around my age approached me in my hiding spot and asked if she could play. I didn't recognize her, and most of the neighborhood kids were already playing, so I asked her if she lived around here and her name. She responded that she lived just outside the neighborhood and her name was Christy.
Oh, God. Here goes my butthole again. Oh, God.
It's doing its thing.
The cheeks are clenched. I'll tell you that much. The crack a walnut.
Christy?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, no, Tamara.
No, it's Tamara's butt that's clenched.
I don't know Christy's situation.
No, well, not
It's
yet.
safe. Yeah.
There were a lot of houses in town behind the woods which surrounded our neighborhood. Our subdivision was one of the only ones in town. Most houses were built on streets off the main roads. So I assumed she lived just behind the woods. I told her she could be on my team, so she needed to hide. Christy said she wanted to hide with me. She never got really close to me, but I could tell she was not wearing shoes and she looked kind of ragged.
Lauren.
Hate it.
Lauren.
So far,
She's too friendly.
my
Yeah,
temperature
sweetheart.
is negative.
But acting a little foolish.
yeah,
Right.
a little bit.
But we're kids, you know?
Right.
Kids will be kids.
Yeah, sometimes you don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really remember our conversation, but I remember feeling slightly uneasy around her. In Manhunt, you need to go from hiding spot to hiding spot until you can make it back to home without getting caught. So I told Christy it was time to move. She said this was as far away from the woods she could go.
No.
Oh, what the heck? No.
She's tethered there.
Jeez.
Lauren.
Stop, not tether. Don't say that. Ew.
Repeat that line one more time.
Yeah. She said this was as far away from the woods she could go, which I thought was weird, so I just left her.
Good.
Finally following those
Good.
instincts.
She's like, okay, girl. And she left.
Oh, God. All right.
Okay, Christy. She tried to stop me, told me she wanted a friend to play with, and said she had dolls we could play with in the woods.
Oh,
No.
I'm going to cry. Oh, that's so
What
gross.
She literally luring her.
Yeah. She has
You want a
time.
doll? Like waggling
Shaking it
a
like a
doll.
cat.
Oh, I got a fun little spot. Oh, that's creepy.
Oh my
Ugh.
god. I said no thanks, man. Love that. And just started running.
No
Love
thanks,
that more.
man.
Not no thanks, man.
No thanks, man. I gotta go.
I can see her doing
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome. No, thanks, man.
Pretty sure I ran all the way to home base from there, LOL. When the game ended, I asked around if anyone had ever met Christy. One boy who lived close to that area of the woods got real wide-eyed. He said he sometimes saw something standing right on the edge of the woods at night, and he's heard a few stories of other encounters with a ghost in the woods.
What?
Ugh,
What do you mean?
My
You're
eyes
just
are
gonna let
heavy
it-
right now. My
I'm
eyes are heavy.
tired.
I hate that.
The
You're just
fact
gonna
that
leave that? You're not gonna be like, what did you say, little boy?
I know, like the fact that her head didn't slowly turn.
Right.
His did actually. He was
Yeah.
like, "What are you talking about?" Like he probably went that whole time thinking
Yeah.
like, "I'm the only one who's encountered Christy."
Yeah.
Imagine like
Ew.
getting confirmation from fucking Lauren of all places.
Yeah.
No shade, Lauren. But Lauren being like, "So you like? Do you guys know Christy? She's got dolls in the woods."
If you are the little boy in this story, please contact us and give us some background because
Tell us about her.
that's rough.
How many times
Honestly.
has he seen her?
Oh, and like
He
standing
lives
out
over
there, like
yeah.
Like,
Like lurking.
Shuffling
Ew.
through the line
oh,
of the tree.
that's
Ew.
so gross.
From like tree to tree.
Stop. I
Yeah.
don't remember ever seeing her again, mostly because I never hid over there again.
Well,
out of fear.
that's fair.
Good call, good call.
That's fair. Smart kid.
Sorry this ghost story isn't super scary, but not
Lauren,
all ghosts
Shut
are.
up, Lauren.
What do you mean?
Oh
She
my-
said you guys are great, thank you. Not all ghosts are. She's like, I saw Christy and she tried to lure me to kill myself in the woods.
Yeah.
But they're not
Oh.
all scary.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't always Christy. Maybe it was somebody else. And
For
Christy
other
got
people?
lured.
Oh.
And it would have been Lauren.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough to think about. That's another layer.
I don't know why my mind goes there. Like the first episode when I was like, in my mind, the guy in your room squatted down and got under your
Right,
bed.
for
Like,
sure.
Yeah,
You're like, what can make this worse,
aggressive.
actually?
How can I
Yeah.
just make this violent? Yeah.
you never played the game. What's the scariest thing that can happen
We
right
played
now?
that all the
Ugh.
time in
I know.
college.
You
oh, yeah,
have.
you
Yeah,
have
I don't
played
think I
that?
did.
What's
That's
the
probably
scariest
good.
thing that can happen
We'll do
right
a pod
now?
of it.
Yeah.
We'll
Right now?
we'll-
Yeah.
The jimmying of the doorknob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh.
You're a little creep.
You and me both,
Same.
brother. You and me both.
Lauren, that was the scariest, like, personal story I think I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was wild.
Thank you.
The part that really gets me is the boy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not just her.
Yeah.
Like, and she didn't go up to him and be like, what do you mean? Tell me more. She was like,
Right.
yeah, I hate her. Huh? Like, that was it.
Yeah, pretty gross. Pretty gross.
We should never talk about this again.
Yeah.
Just thinking about, like, the something, like, walking the line of the trees is
Yes.
really gross, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my timber shivered because of that.
Yeah.
That part of the story.
I
That one-
wonder if she could, like, draw her.
Why do you want people to draw? Why are you like,
Because
I'll draw them?
'cause-
Could you draw them? Lauren,
Because
would
it's
you
like-
draw me a picture?
A caricature?
Because of how vivid it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like drawing it is such a bad idea.
Not like
Don't put pen to
conjuring it.
paper.
I'm just saying, like, exactly, like, it's how vivid was it? How close were they? Like, could you reach out and touch them, kind of thing?
Right.
Because with your stories from the last episode, go listen to, you couldn't see their faces. But if like you could literally like describe to a sketch artist what this thing looked like that's like how much more do you need?
Yeah.
You know?
Creepy. For sure.
Really creepy.
I bet she could.
Lauren, if you're listening,
Draw a
don't
picture.
draw it. Just tell us if you could.
Yeah, just email us again at ghoulbeanspodcast.
Hey, Ghoul Beans Podcast.
Okay. We have another scary story from another listener / close friend who was also in your wedding.
What?
Our good friend Gabby.
There's a theme.
Gabby! Beans
Gabby!
for Gabby!
Beans for Gabby. Gabby's got some incredible stories. I'm so happy to be able to share one.
I'm excited to hear this because
Yeah.
I've never heard her like talk about this or anything like that. Not that like
Gabby's
we haven't had a
gonna-
whole lot of conversations
Yeah.
about this kind of stuff, but like I've never heard her talk about.
We can have a ghost
Ghostly
night in
background.
Cabo. She's got stories.
Oh,
baby.
FaceTime me.
I will.
She starts. Hey, ghoul friends.
Love that.
I wanted to write in and share with you one of my favorite scary experiences I've had. It's a true horror movie level scary, in my opinion.
Oh, Lord.
Well, all right, I'm
Here
ready.
we go.
Clench now or forever hold
Or
your
open,
peace.
whatever. Back when I was an undergrad, I babysat for this family with 3 kids. The youngest of the kids was 3 years old. On this particular afternoon, the oldest kids were at school, and both parents were at work, leaving only me and the 3-year-old in the house. The house itself could be pretty eerie. It was a 3-floor row house, meaning it was narrow but very tall. The entrances to the basement and the upstairs could both be seen from the main floor, and they
Gross.
both looked like staircases disappearing into complete darkness.
Yeah.
She's really painting this picture.
Yeah.
Realistically, it sounds like a very cool house, but also realistically,
In the daytime.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's often the case.
Yeah.
Cool in the day is like, hell no, I'm out of here at night.
You literally.
Sometimes though, like going to places, when it's scary during the day, you're like, this is too much. I think
For sure.
there's like
Yeah.
a demon in
The
here.
place
Yeah.
that we went for Matt's birthday party, like, was really cool. But once, like, I actually was, like, taking a look at it that next day, I was like, I kind of don't want to be in here alone.
Oh, I didn't get vibes. From that.
No.
You're, you know,
Well, yeah, that's true.
this is.
I was
not
just there to have a good
out
time.
of the usual for you.
even the ghosts are like, hey man, they're just
They're just
having-
chilling.
they're
This
having
one
fun.
at least is on my okay list.
Yeah.
Tony's like, hey, see
Party
you at
on,
night.
Tone. Party on.
I mean, for me, it was the 14 acres of woods. I didn't
To
want to
me,
see a
it
little
was-
Christie.
To me, it was the dead birds, like, running into the window.
Stop. And they were like on the. It was like a sign. It was like exact. We were all having a good time at the
Yeah.
bonfire.
Yeah, it was a classic. It was the opening to every teen slasher movie for sure.
That's true. I feel
And
like
then-
if there were 3 less of us,
Yeah,
we had a pretty big group.
Yeah,
Like
that's
if we had just
true.
had a few less, you
Yeah.
know, to fill in that 2-hour
Yeah.
runtime.
If it had just been the core group
Yeah,
and like somebody had gone missing on the driveway, it would have been way worse. Anyway, this day I had to trek up the long stairs through the darkness. The upstairs hallway light had been conveniently burned out.
oh no,
To put the
Natural.
3-year-old down for
Who
her
doesn't
nap.
change?
Adding to the darkness, her room had blackout curtains. So
Mm.
after we had gone through her storytime routine and it was time for her to wind down, I had to close the curtains and leave the lights off while we sat in the rocking chair and I sang songs to her. Gabby. As always, this worked like a charm, and she was beginning to doze off in my arms when she suddenly looked over my shoulder with a far-off look at the darkened window behind me. Then she asked me, "Who's that lady in the curtains?"
No.
Nah, she didn't. I'm not accepting this.
No,
kid.
that didn't happen.
Not only were we the only people in the house, but this sort of question was out of character for her. She's not a spooky little girl.
She's not
No.
like, I've got imaginary friends.
Right. She
Okay.
doesn't like have a history of like
Yeah. I'm
this.
saying weird ass
Oh
shit.
my
Is what you're saying?
Yeah.
We're in complete darkness and I'm singing lullabies to you.
Right,
I would have
absolutely not.
gently laid her in her crib.
I would have chucked her into the crib and ran.
And got the hell.
Like
out of it.
shot put her into the crib from the rocking chair.
Yeah.
This sort of question was out of character for her. She didn't have any imaginary friends or make up stories like that. I turned to look at behind me and saw nothing. So I said to her, "Oh, no one's there." To which she looked puzzled and sleepily said, "No, that lady behind you."
Oh no.
Like she was like pissed off, stomped her little 3-year-old foot and was just
Right.
like, "No, that one. You don't see her?"
Yeah,
The
oh my
assertiveness.
God.
Like
Yeah.
there is a person there.
Insisting.
Right.
Stupid dumb idiot. Like they're right there.
Like and I have worked with so many children that like I just immediately can like picture like her being like, "No, that one."
Right.
Like trying
Yeah.
to get your
You're like, stop talking about it now.
stop,
Yes.
put your finger down.
You're not picking up on what I'm cueing. Here.
You're not picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
We said to the 3-year-old. Well, I decided then the nap time routine was over. And like a good babysitter, I put her into the crib and scooted out of there as fast as I could. Period, Gabby.
I'm just gonna leave you here to hang with this lady.
Okay, kiss her on the little forehead and leave.
Absolutely.
A couple months later, I was putting the same 3-year-old to bed. It was night, making everything upstairs black, save for her new nightlight. As I put her in the crib, she asked for one more song. While I was singing, I made shadow puppets on the wall using the nightlight. Then she sits straight up and says, "Hey, that's what the monster does too."
Oh man.
Oh.
She goes, "Yuck."
Oh, that's so gross.
So I have no idea what was in that house, ghost, monster, or something else, but I do know it scared the crap out of me. And she said, "Feel free to condense things as much as you need."
Never.
Girl, I wish this was twice as long.
Yeah,
too.
for real. Oh my god.
Thanks,
Ew.
Gab. That was what you said as horror movie level scary.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Just like the clarity this kid has, because like kids make shit up all the time, but you can tell. But like the insistence, like you were saying, or like that like jogged something. It wasn't just like, oh, that's what monsters do, but it was like, oh hey,
Yeah.
The
like
fact
no.
she was friendly with it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's Christy all over again. Both of
Right.
these were like child ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, I hate it. Actually, it's old lady ghost.
I don't particularly care for this.
You had like a weird old man in your room.
Yeah. And then a shadow and a little girl.
And a little girl. Disgusting.
Oh, one of the worst. If
Yeah.
you're gonna be haunted by any demographic, which one do you not want, and which one do you want?
I don't want to be haunted.
Yeah,
And-
not claiming that energy.
The
No,
worst
no,
is
none of
definitely
that.
little girl ghost.
Yes, absolutely.
I feel like, in my opinion, in a regular schmegular adult man ghost, like lurking around the corners of your house, is
Yeah.
horrifying.
Yeah, that's terrible.
He was like, "Wait a minute, let me
That's
think."
terrible.
Like bigger than you, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And especially if you listen to this podcast, you know about whatever lived in my basement was absolutely masculine energy
Yeah.
and also 7 feet tall, easy.
Ugh.
Could, if I was if I was like, "Hey, can you stand on your tiptoes?" The head
Yeah.
would have hit the ceiling.
Ugh.
And like to come through doorways, it would have to bend.
Ew.
Oh, that's so bad.
You didn't describe it like
Oh,
that.
that's-
Fuck that.
That is.
How dare you?
Oh,
But it
gross.
wouldn't. It's not like it had like.
Ugh, I like my mind's
mind.
trying to like picture it, and I'm trying with all my might to be like, no, shut it down.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
hate what I'm thinking about.
It was
I hate
like
what I'm thinking
like-
about.
Very Babadook.
Ugh.
very Babadook, but no top hat.
That's not bad.
That's a bummer.
And like,
See, I trust anyone with a top hat.
yeah,
So,
you know, Abe Lincoln,
hey, honest.
The Babadook.
the Babadook, and the Monopoly Man.
The 3 horsemen of trust.
Absolutely.
Maybe they knew whoever was in my basement. It wouldn't like put its hand to like slither under. That's like too real.
See, that's what I was imagining. I'm
Yeah.
glad you debunked that immediately.
But it definitely would like bend to come through the doorway.
Ooh, slink? Would it slink?
As much as a 7-foot tall mass could slink.
Well,
It kind of just like, I guess like,
Exactly.
It kind of just like appeared at any moment. Like you could look at a shadowy corner and then immediately like look back and it's there.
Yeah.
Was it like clearly like a humanoid type shape, or was it like just like a long, elongated like form, or like
It's
what?
like if a person was silhouetted, but the silhouette had mass.
Okay.
Like a three-dimensional silhouette.
That's
so
how...
like basically a shadow, but like blown out almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like it had presence.
Mm-hmm.
Here I go being like, could I draw it? Yeah, I could. But like if I went to go touch it, which I never would have, I was very afraid of it. If I went to go touch it, I feel like I would probably see my hand the whole way through.
Yeah.
Like pass through it. Okay.
Yeah, but when looking at it, you can't see on the other side of it.
That's actually very similar as to how I would describe the shadow thing that was on top of me that I described last week.
Yeah.
That kind of definitely a person like shape, but a
Yeah.
different like there's something about what they're made of. The mass is different.
Yeah.
And it's more than just like a silhouette.
Almost as if they like the thing, whatever it was, like it was always at night.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But it wasn't like it would happen during the daytime.
Right.
That's weird.
Like a person
freaky.
moving in a dark room. It was very that.
Ugh.
Ugh. Hate that.
Well, folks, we just heard knocking on the door/wall.
Is it loose?
Oh, possibly.
Let me call. Are you at the door? Hallelujah, God.
The baby Jesus.
I'll go get it.
I think I had a heart attack.
That was rough.
The way everybody here, all of your buttholes were closed.
Oh, well, wide open, my friend. Wide open.
That was so perfectly timed.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was saying because we had said the scariest thing would be somebody knocking.
Yeah.
And it was like a soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry
You-
you're out in the cold like that. It's
Yeah,
okay,
because
but
we
I
were all
hate you.
sitting here clenched, like, what the hell?
Yeah, we just sat here for a little bit. We were
The
like,
mood was shifted.
Yeah.
It got too real.
Should have.
Stop, we said that too!
That would've been
I
so
would went
fucked
guns
up.
blazing. To be completely honest.
Hello?
Who's out there?
I would have started.
Just a bunch of nudes in here.
Dudes hanging out. Dudes being dudes.
How low
No,
can you make
this-
your voice?
I'm not sure. Oh.
That made me snort.
I can't do it while I'm like laughing. How low can you go?
It's so like a person trying to have a low voice.
What is it from Mulan? Like,
I'm Ping. Like that. I am a man who lives here. You've never tried to make your voice.
I'm sure I have over the years. Sure.
yeah. I can go this slow.
That's pretty good.
Oh, this slow.
Bunch of men here.
Why did you turn into Old Man Withers?
Bunch of men here. Get out of my
It
yard.
starts shaking. It cannot
I
even.
can't do it. Oh, laughing. Or anytime, frankly, but especially while I'm laughing.
Gosh, dang, that's funny.
It's one of those things where, like when I listen to myself, it's higher than I think
Yeah,
too,
doesn't
and
that
I hate it. Oh,
I'm glad. I always thought I had a man voice until I heard it.
I think part of that is microphones pick up high end, but
Just like the camera, like, picks up fat more.
well, that's what I tell myself. But,
Oh yeah, those reels. I'm like, damn. Post. It's too real.
post and move on, right?
I'm like, oh god, I'm posting it. Like, do you
Damn.
want to hear us ghoulies on Friday? Meanwhile, I'm like crying.
Just goddamn.
Like, literally never been an uglier angle of me. Like, love you.
behind
That's
the
so funny, because that's how I feel when I look at it. I'm like, great.
There's only so much I can do. Dude. Like, I can't do it. I'm like, okay, so we're never putting the camera that high again. You can see everything.
That's hilarious.
Thank God my shirt was down. My pants were fully unbuttoned. I was wearing button fly.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that.
I remember you unbuttoning your
Be
pants saying,
like-
this is what's happening.
And they're just like, all right.
Are button flies common for girls' pants?
Yeah.
Yeah, relatively.
'Cause-
Especially high waist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which-
they're not common enough for guys. And
You want them?
of course, I love them.
They're so easy to go and they all open.
And
And I love them.
well,
You gotta get more.
You can make them all button fly. Oh my god. Imagine having to pee really bad. Rip that bitch right open.
What if it doesn't though, and then you have to unbutton each one? Miserable.
Anyway, there was like another shadowy figure. That one was definitely masculine.
Ew, stop.
The shadowy
No, I
figure
know.
in my Lakewood apartment, which was myself and my partner's first apartment in Rogers Park. Loved that apartment despite its haunting, and it was definitely haunted. It was very feminine, and truthfully, I think it was something that wasn't a ghost. It's like beyond, way beyond. It started to get worse around like August, and then by the time it hit
this year, last year.
2019.
Okay.
Yeah, because we lived there from like April 2019 to October 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved into the other one. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
and it's a studio, but we had like a kitchen, dining room, like area room. And then we had like our living room, bedroom, and a big like deep set closet with one big wooden bar that held all of our clothes.
Okay.
We shoved a dresser in there, so it's like, you know, that was
Yeah.
our wardrobe.
Mm-hmm.
We never, like, we couldn't even acknowledge it. It started off with like little things, and like finally one day, like, Luce, my partner, and I were like, there's like something happening in here, right? And literally, I guess they had experienced something like the first few days of us living there, and didn't want to tell me. Because of the two of us, I'm like the more like sensitive one, I guess.
Yeah.
And I had been feeling like that, but not right from the very beginning. Definitely there was like a vibe, but it was an old Chicago apartment. But, you know, things started happening, and progressively it was getting worse. And then maybe the first week of October, that October that we moved out, and that was the October of your wedding. I'll just speak from one of my first experiences. I was in the shower, and, you know, shower's a stone's throw from the living room.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear, I thought I heard my partner going, babe? And I was like, yeah? Nothing. Again, louder.
No.
And I know I have like fear tears. And I was like, yes. And then didn't answer. I was like, oh, you know, if they want to answer so bad, they're going to come in the bathroom.
Right.
And then I heard the front door open and Luce walk in. Never in the apartment. Not the whole time, not in the apartment.
Did it have like, what kind of vibe were you getting off of?
Like, did it sound like them?
It sounded just like Luce.
Oh,
Like,
Ugh.
just like Luce.
mimicking.
Yeah.
And it's not like possible that this ghost was calling you a babe?
I would love that.
I think we have to look at this from all angles.
No, it sounded as if like the same voice of like a distant like, do you know where the spatula
right,
is?
just getting your attention.
Yes, very much that. And that's kind of what it wanted to do the whole time, is just keep getting our attention. And it had it after a while.
Ugh, wouldn't take long.
No. We had streamers up for something, and it was hanging in the doorway that led to the bathroom. And it, like, one streamer was getting, like, toot, 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 toot. I think I have video of it. The
Really?
one streamer was moving back. I literally think I have video of it.
Yeah.
It would, like, I have insomnia as it is. That was the same night that I finally saw, like, physical form. Imagine a doorway.
Okay.
With no door. So it's just like, you know.
Sure. Yeah, just an open.
Yeah. There's like a little, the doorway comes out about 2.5 inches from the wall.
Okay.
It was literally dark in my room, but it was darker right there. And the streamers, the streamers were still dangling. And I saw, like, if somebody had been leaning up against and, like, had their hand to, like, push their head out to look at me. But then the hand, like, slipped back into the darkness really quickly.
So you saw the hand.
The fingers.
Oh. Oh, I'm
normal sized hand. Like it wasn't like
not a kid.
no.
Oh, my body hurts. This is wow.
So
I'm
that
tearing up.
yeah. So after that the air was really electric the next day.
Uh-huh.
Like tangible. Like if you had walked in, you'd be like something's going on.
Wait, and sorry. So how much time had passed between the babe and the hand?
A week.
Okay.
And then after the hand, everything immediately all at once. It just got really bad. The next day, I was so scared to be in the house alone. And I was like, the whole time, all of the blinds were open. It was daytime in my apartment.
Yeah.
And yet I was like, I could not do anything without facing all the other walls.
Yeah.
Which thank God was in a studio. It was pretty easy to do. I was doing my makeup in the vanity, and I had like a little, like a vanity where it's a pull top, and the mirror is like within the desk. And like, so, just sitting down at the stool doing my makeup with one single light shining on me.
Yeah.
And in the reflection, like literally out of a movie, it like was there and like moved behind me.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
And no eyes, no face, no nothing, just like
A silhouette.
like hair for sure.
Ew.
Long hair. And you said this was like a feminine thing? Or?
Yeah. It was evil, I think. I know I don't like to throw that word around lightly, but that came second to whatever was in my basement growing up, but it was not a far second.
Right. They're friends.
Yeah, they were homies. And I was like, holy shit. And then I text you and I was like, it's crazy. You like, I don't even know what to do. Like we were like desperate at this point because we were scared. And we're also moving, right? So all of our shit's like starting to like come out little by little, or get put in boxes. And it's like, you know, knowing that we're leaving, I think was also causing something. Literally, Luce came home with Jesus candles, like so many Jesus candles. And there was like a couple in every room. I end up thinking that was not the right move because it got worse.
Really?
The bar of clothes in our closet. Our clothes it was jam packed. We had nowhere else to put them. I was in the kitchen and Luce walks by and goes, "Did you separate our clothes?" Our clothes in the exact middle. I have like literally tears and like chills right now. It had been open like the size of like a person, like literally like spread open, and we never did we just never did it. I don't know. It wasn't like, you know, I don't know. We just never separated them.
Right.
And I like stepped out and we both looked at it and we were literally like at this point like holding each other like, what do we do? Like I can't do this. And then there was a shelf in the shower. This is the same night that I saw it in the vanity that it separated our clothes. There was a loud racket in the shower. And at this point, we're like, we're getting fucked with really hard right now.
Yeah.
I've never in my life, I will say, whatever was in the basement used to terrorize us, but not the way that all in one day like this.
Right.
The shelf in the shower, there was like a razor sitting on top, had been there for days. The razor had fully like hard fallen off. It was loud, like louder than it should have been. And then you kept going in and like you're like, did you knock the toilet paper off? And I was like, no. And you had put it on the sink. And literally every time you walked in the bathroom after that, it was on the ground. Like, this is why I can't be convinced that there's not ghosts. Because, like, this shit, I was like, there's no explanation for it.
Right.
Especially because I didn't even want to be alone. Like, we were, like, together the whole time in our studio apartment. But there were walls. Like, that was the difference. Like, you could be places and not see each other in the apartment. Yeah. And then we were sitting in our bed. All of the lights are on. The Jesus candles are burning. And I literally just had like this disgusting chill up my spine. And I was just like, I just felt the urge to like look outside. Oh my God, I'm going to be sick. You could see the street from our apartment. And there's like a fence that's backlit by street lights. Right? So the light is like pouring through the slits in the fence, the wooden fence, which is like an 8-foot tall fence. And there was just like I've never seen it like this before. Like when people walk, it's like you can see the people's like jackets and shoes and stuff because it's pretty well illuminated. There was just this huge black mass just like pacing back and forth on the fence, like blocking out all light. Like there was no light seeping through. And it wasn't like a person, because when a person walks past the fence and blocks the light, you can like see even like their shoelaces. Nothing. Dark. And then like all of our windows, it felt like it was darker outside for us than anybody else. Like, I don't know how to describe that feeling. And we just like lowered all the blinds, and then the next day it was lights turned off by themselves. Mm-hmm. And as we were moving out, that never stopped. There was like tapping, cabinet doors would be open, the light in the kitchen would turn on and off. I have video of that. I sent it to you. I was like, the light is turning on and off right now. And then it did it on camera, and I was like, I gotta get out. It was definitely a female thing. It almost felt like it was called to our apartment. Like, it was like magnetic. Like, it was just there. I think it just like, these types of things know that I can feel them or see them, or I have, or I don't know. I've always thought that.
Well, I've been speechless this entire
I know, it was so quiet while you were telling the story.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no jokes to be made.
I know.
I'm
I
just
wish
scared.
I should have been like, and her name was Sandra.
No,
No,
it was
it's
horrifying. You don't want to humanize that.
No.
You couldn't, like, I don't know. If you had been in the apartment, you would have been like, probably could have pointed her out.
Ew.
Yeah, she was always in there.
That's disgusting.
By the closet, by the front door, in the bathroom.
Ew. I always pictured the, like, thing from Lights Out.
It was exactly like that. You remember when we went to go see that? Of course Tony was there.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's kind of how I picture it.
Yeah.
Like that one scene where it's like crouched on the couch.
Yeah.
It would never do like inhuman motions like that. It would just like, she would slink along the back wall. Like, she'd literally like slink around the walls and stuff. And she had like just like, it looked exactly like the thing from Lights Out.
Yeah.
But if the thing from Lights Out was wearing a floor-length black dress,
Shut the fuck
with
up.
black combat boots on.
Ew. I can't believe how, like, often you saw it. Like, I know you didn't see it a ton, but,
I
like,
didn't
it sounds
see it like that until towards the end.
Yeah.
But there was always something happening.
But when you were laying in bed and, like, saw the arm, like, go around the corner.
Like Signs.
That's hard to handle.
Like
Yeah,
the scene in Signs where it like
Yes.
covers his mouth. It
Yeah.
was very that, except slipped back into the dark.
That's disgusting.
A regular-sized hand.
So, how long were you there again? You said earlier, but
From April 2019 to October 2020.
April to October. So, and then most of that, like, so it's all happening right when you're leaving. But
Like from August to October.
Oh, August, October. But like before then, was there feelings? Was there
Yeah, it was like
minor things?
Yeah,
or-
ooky spooky. Just like taps, like, oh, did you hear that? Or I didn't leave that light on. But nothing. We were like, oh god, old building, annoying.
Yeah.
Of course we were like, oh, it's probably the ghost that lives in our apartment.
Right.
After probably when it hit August, if anything happened, we would just look at each other, and then we would save it till we weren't in the apartment anymore. And then we would bring it up when we weren't in the apartment.
Right.
Because we didn't want it to feel like acknowledged or like supported in any way.
Right.
So we wouldn't even acknowledge it.
Right.
I mean, we would, like in a movie when something scary happens, we would look at each other and be like crying. Like, not like, but literally
Right.
like the tears like welling up in your eyes because you know what's happening.
All right. But you're trying not to validate it at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. We had a box fan. Of course, Chicago apartments don't naturally have air. And the box fan was sitting on top of just like a table that it would blow on us while we slept. I didn't wake up. My partner, Luce, is the one that woke up for this. They say that it, I don't even know, like, it was in the middle of the table. It wasn't on the end. And it had been slid off the side. It fell off the side, not forward or back. It was like it was pushed
Slid
off the
across
edge.
the table.
Yeah. It, like, 6 inches off the edge of the table. And we don't ever have it on high. It was on like regular schmegular speed.
No.
And if it had shaken, it would have fallen front or back.
Front or back.
Right.
No, it was, well, my partner said it was so loud and like intentional.
Oh my
I didn't wake up
God.
for that. That was for you. That was not for me.
That was for you. That's right, because whatever, like, caused you, I feel like it did very much, like, isolate you guys. Like, your experiences were very
Split our clips.
separate. Yeah.
Waited till, like, when I was alone, it would mess with me so bad.
Ugh.
We like started burning sage in that apartment. That's how
Right.
real it got. Like, We didn't watch scary movies in that apartment. Like, we couldn't talk about anything scary, like, nothing, because it if you did, it literally would have, you, like, called it.
I remember you guys telling me about it, and it, like, became, like, I was really excited to hear the ghost stories, but as you were talking, you're like, no, like, we have to go get Sage. Like, this is an actual thing we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. And especially when you're hearing about somebody that you care about living in there.
Yeah.
Like, at the time, you know, it's one thing to hear them after the fact. Like, I'm gone. I'm out of there. It's all good now, but, like...
Yeah.
Or it's something that happens somewhere you don't live or whatever. But,
We would both have experiences on the same day.
Ugh.
Separate experiences on the same day. Or, like...
Packing in its quota.
Yeah.
It's spooky quota.
Double tap.
Was it at the end of the month?
It was at the end of the month. But from then on, every time it got to, like, around Halloween season, we like, when we were living in Rogers Park, so up until very recently, had this, like, looming anxiety of, like, I really hope nothing happens.
Yeah.
Because it was, like, low-key traumatic. Because it was so intense. And everything that happened that was really intense happened within 5 days.
Yeah. Ugh.
Waking up, your cortisol was through the roof already.
That's
Like, imagine just living in a haunted house for a fucking week.
No, I can't.
A deeply haunted house.
Yeah.
And we both described it separately as the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's rough.
Ugh.
That's rough. I mean, well, luckily, you had an out. You know, you were
Right,
already
you were
visiting
renting.
out.
Yeah.
And, like, somebody
Not
who
to
owns...
mention that we went to go visit you that October and went on a Halloween tour on the full moon on Capitol Hill in Denver.
You were like, we're away from our haunted house. We can be spooky here.
Yeah. And then when we moved back, it was literally like, when we came back, it was literally time to move again. And
That's great. You wash your hands from it.
yeah.
Yeah, disconnect.
I don't even like looking at the building anymore when we pass it.
I wouldn't. No way.
I'm sure wherever, like, you guys got rid of it, but, like, I'm sure when it moved right back in there the second you guys left.
I think it lives there.
Disgusting. I'm sure.
Did you ever think about, and maybe this is something you wouldn't think about if you were leaving, but, like, do you think you would contact the previous owners if you knew?
We knew him.
Really?
We met him before we moved. He was a really nice guy. He had very little stuff, and he was, like, never home.
Yeah.
So if he ever experienced anything, he definitely chalked it up to... I mean, we don't know, but I would assume, like, a single guy in his 20s, a young guy in his 20s. And I was home...
A lot.
A lot.
Because it was pandemic time.
Yeah, especially during the pandemic.
Wow, that's wild.
I hate that for you.
Yes.
Well, I didn't know.
No, I'm so
proud
glad. I'm so glad that you told it. That we finally got to tell all about. And that tone.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
I got to watch Tony's face drop.
The fan sliding off the edge, just like a full, like 6 inches, and then from the dresser onto the ground.
No, that's disgusting. All of it, the clothes being separated to, like, a human-size hole. Mm-hmm. The fact that you saw it a couple times, like, that's disgusting.
The hand and them being behind you.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
Literally, like...
That's it.
Seriously.
Literally, like...
Yeah. It knew what it was doing. And that's the grossest part.
Yes.
The fact that it touched you, like, on one of the first days and, like, called your name on, like...
Mm-hmm. While I was in the shower.
Yeah. Or said babe, but just, like, mimicked you so quickly.
It sounded exactly like Luce.
The mimicking aspect is really dark.
Yeah.
That's freaky.
Well, if anyone wants to share their ghostly stories, I like having Ghouls Being Ghouls Part 2.
Me too.
I love the ghost stories. So
I like that there was an overflow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was a blast. It's fun to do too.
Just 3
an
ghouls.
extended edition.
Yeah. 3 ghouls being ghouls.
3 ghouls being ghouls.
If you have any stories, please DM us on any of the socials or email at ghoulbeanspodcast@gmail.com.
Don't forget to like, rate, comment everywhere that you listen to us. And we know you listen to us on multiple platforms.
Yes.
You got the car going, the iPad, your phone.
And yeah, join in next time for our local lore episode.
Thanks again to Tony.
Oh my God,
thank you
beans
so
for Tony.
Beans once again for Tony.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a blast. I can't wait to do this again. We've brainstormed a few ideas already.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're definitely coming back.
Yeah, for triumphant returns.
Exactly.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to be back on the show.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tony, and thank you, everyone, for joining us and spilling the Ghoul Beans.
I was addicted to the Listerine strips for a while. Very similar.
Oh, I used to love those.
Addicted.
Yeah.
Did you ever like try and see how many you could do before like
I would literally-
overloading?
Well,
Like
no,
you'd like put like
I would do
5
them
in
back
your
to
mouth?
back and definitely develop indigestion. But one of the things I would do is stick them like on the roof of my mouth intentionally. I was like, this is
Yeah.
Are they
scary.
No,
supposed to
absolutely.
like dissolve? Because mine never did, so it just became like
You have
goop
dry
on the
mouth.
top.
Yeah.
It just became like goop on the top of
You
my
have to
mouth.
like suck it a little bit, like dissolve it with your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
You were just like letting
Get
it.
some saliva. Yeah, get some saliva.
You
going.
gave your tongue a blanket. That's all that happened.
I just
You're
remember.
talking about.
What?
Just burn a hole through your tongue with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it probably could.
And there were
I-
so
I-
many little
Especially if you're
sheets in
shoving
there.
how many
Oh,
at a time?
God.
It
Yeah.
came with 24, so at least 12.
Ted and I, when we were in middle school, this was before the internet, things to do. It might have been a cold
I think
day.
it did exist, probably.
Oh, it did. It
middle
was just
school.
very slow. No, we just had nothing else to do, and we found a full thing of it, still wrapped up. His mom's, clearly we took it.
We just found it in her car cup holder
in her cargo hold, in her purse.
that we dug for.
And we're like,
Oh, you know what we could do today? My mom just bought some Listerine to shred.
hell
Let's put
yeah,
'em on our
dude.
nipples.
Prime them up.
Prime them.
What did you say?
on our nipple. People did do that.
Oh, the sensation. Oh, I bet it was wild.
I wasn't hanging with the right crowd. I
Did
don't
you
think.
ever read that story that when it was going around on the internet of this girl talking about how in her class this boy sprayed his nipple with Axe body spray for like 20 seconds straight?
Oh my god.
And some kid walked up to him and flicked it and it popped clean off. He like freeze dried his nipple.
No, I did
This
not. hear
episode
that
is so
story.
nipply.
Yeah, there's a lot of nipple talk.
Nip talk.
Nip talk.
Nip talk.
Tony.
Ghoul Beans, where the interesting shit's at.
Yeah.